We have no bit, but it's not one of the bits where we have no bit. We talk about having no bit.
Should we have no bit because Critical Role's taking a break?
So we can take a break from the bit. But then now we're recording that, so we're going to use that.
Hi, I'm Ollie the Turtle! Now it's a bit. I realised that was his butt talking.
I'm going to eat Ollie the Turtle in a stew. Hello and welcome to NPCs of Tal'Dorei here in the D20 Multiverse with myself, Oliver, Dungeon Master, and
Dave.
We are reviewing one of the old school original Vox Machina episodes, episode 11.
Because Critical Role's taking a break.
So, as per our promise on this channel, we do a review and recap of one of the actual original episodes, the one that got us all started as critters, mostly. Some people started.
Well, it depends on when you jumped in, really. But it's
how I started.
hope one day to ever catch up.
Yeah, it's going to happen. Hundreds and hundreds.
Yeah, so it's really like all the crew's younger.
Yeah,
like
Grog has no beard.
Yeah, I wonder who else doesn't have any beard and decides not to mention it.
I thought you looked good.
You thought I looked good?
Yeah.
What? Ow.
No,
wow.
now I mean.
No, I thought you said, I thought you would look good, and now you're looking at it,
no,
and I'm like, oh, it doesn't look good.
I was like, before we started filming, I thought you looked good.
Oh, well, you didn't say it. You know,
well,
words.
we're stuck in fucking syntax and grammar yet again.
What do you mean syntax and grammar? You literally didn't say anything.
Well, anyway, we're
I just
here.
want to bring it up here so it's recorded. It's really for the court case.
I was grammatically vague. I don't know. Apparently I have to be grammatically accurate and direct, and so can't say anything that can be taken any other way possible. So for the rest of the bit, I'm not going to speak at all.
Bit? Is this a bit? Or do you mean for the show? It's already got better. Anyway, so we start off with Vex, and Vex kind of sort of messing around with the giant, and Scanlan's still invisible. So basically, there's a giant which we later find out to be a Fomorian. Fomorian? Is that how you say it? Fomorian. It's like a cave troll, or kind of like a cave troll version of a giant.
Okay, my face is hurting. I can't hold that any longer. That was a while. Yeah, so essentially we're back towards the end of the first major arc of Clarota versus Kavan, the mind flayer deep underground with an army of Illithid. And really the first epic test that Vox Machina, at least on camera, has faced. With Kima Avord, the dwarf, who I love.
Yeah, and Klarota's there.
And Clarota is there as well.
My Clarota.
My first note is, oh my god, they're so young! Exclamation mark. Apparently grammatically incorrect there as well, but hey, that's my writing. We're at a camp and they're hiding.
Are you shocked? I mean, we literally just did a bit on that.
Yeah, so they're essentially, most of this episode, and fair enough, is planning leading up to the boss battle. Yeah. Because it's the end of the arc.
I mean, the episode was about the whole video was like 5 hours, but the game itself was around about 4 hours 45, I think I rounded up to. Yeah. And I think this is the longest episode they had so far. But also, not really a lot happened. If you notice the planning in this stage, it really shows how much they've grown as players as well, because they don't spend, maybe that's because of Tiberius, but
who just every time a plan is fully formed and coherent, he's like, oh, but wait, I have a different idea. And it's like, oh, come on.
We have a theory, because obviously Orion doesn't stick around for the whole campaign.
Where does he leave? Like, episode 20, episode 30?
I think it's around then. Yeah. I think they go for around about half a year before he jets off, but they make a big announcement.
So I think, these early episodes are an example of some of the stuff they haven't quite hammered out and some of the lines they haven't quite smoothed yet.
I mean, you got the voices still. You got Grog being Grog. I think some of the personalities were still developing.
Yeah, I still feel like at this point, Vax is not Vax yet. Yeah. He doesn't have that kind of, emo depth.
He hasn't been listening to My Chemical Romance enough yet.
This is why I'm gothing out today in memoration for original Vax.
Yeah, that's why.
Okay, fine. I had no other shirts. Do you want to just bring me down every time, Dave?
That's just what you always wear. I mean, it's not you don't live your life.
It's actually been quite a while since I wore this shirt because I realised it was hidden in a drawer I didn't expect. So essentially, we've got the old school Vox Machina before they really became the Vox Machina, or at least that we know. Of course, they've been playing around on this for about a year, 2 years before they went live stream.
Anyway. The story, let's get into the episode.
Right, so they've got the giant with them kind of thing, and Clarota has essentially just slept the giant using spells so they can figure out what to do with it. That was me throwing it over to you.
Yeah, that's not what happened at all. So basically they try and dominate the giant.
And that fails.
And that fails. Scanlan tries to do that, well, Matt Scanlan.
Yeah.
And then Grog tries to use diplomacy on the giant.
Grog's strongest
which
suit
doesn't work, but they end up sleeping the giant with a sleep arrow that Vex has.
Oh, okay. Because I thought the sleep arrow didn't work, and that's why they used...
I'm pretty sure the sleep arrow worked. And Crota, they try to use Crota to dominate and control it.
Yeah.
But then Keyleth cast, I think, Geas? Geas, that's the actual spell. I looked it up.
Yeah,
to control them.
See what I thought happened, and again, I was doing other things. I thought that the sleep arrow, because it has to, the creature that you affect has to have a lower number of hit points than the hit point modifiers roll.
Pretty sure the sleep arrow worked.
Okay, all right. Well, I fucked that up.
I'm pretty sure.
Either way,
I could be wrong.
The giant is essentially...
That's our show, really.
I'm pretty sure. Like, Vex tried to do it, and then it failed, and then other people cast spells. Because I do remember Matt talking about the semantics of the sleep arrow. It's the kind of thing, because...
Maybe I missed that.
In our game, Raymond used to use it, but the creature that you use it on has to have a low number of hit points, something like that. But anyway, essentially they're all sitting around while the giant is sleeping, and they're like, okay, now how do we attack this camp? We know the Mind Flayer, Kavan is there, we know the Illithid are there, we know if all of this stuff turns on us at the same time.
Kavan's not a Mind Flayer, he's a Beholder.
Beholder, sorry.
Yeah.
Clarota is the Mind Flayer.
Yeah.
And so with the Mind Flayer, Sleeping Giant, how do we attack an entire, like, quite powerful army? And then the next, like, I don't know, 2 hours is them trying to figure out what...
Well, it's kind of like, so they control the giant, and then they decide to turn the giant into a mouse. So the plan is kind of like, above the temple where they have to go into the Illithid city, they kind of plan to, like, drop it.
Yeah.
And then it kind of crashes into the temple, which breaks the magic bond that Kavan had over the mind... it's a flame.
The Illithid. So essentially, there's like there's a mind control device essentially that they've discerned.
Elder Brain, that's it.
The Elder Brain.
Yeah.
Which is kind of helping Kavan with his whole mess up your mind, control the army thing. So they figure, well, first port of call before we attack this guy is to take out the mind control device. That's paramount importance.
And then they kind of killed the giant.
A little bit, so they do eventually, after a lot of back and forth, and Tiberius going, but wait, what about this idea? They decide to drop him as a mouse, turn him into a giant, get him to land.
And he breaks the magic bonds around it, but he also dies. Did the giant really do anything wrong?
No.
He pretty much existed. His crime in this world has existed at the wrong time.
I actually, because Vox Machina didn't even seem that perturbed by the fact that he died. I was like, but these are, like, it seemed very out of character for Vox Machina.
I mean, Keyleth did kill a child once.
That's true. And Vax killed an old guy without asking questions in a dungeon just by, he sees him and shoots him.
And they all die and treat death like nothing.
This is true. And Keyleth does kind of, become a little bit egotistical and jump off the cliff as a goldfish. I think they all go mad a little bit.
Yeah, I think we have too.
So essentially, so the first massive chunk of this episode is trying to figure out how to do this. I think later on, when they realised that they've got thousands and thousands of people watching, they kind of tighten up their plan segments.
They do. You find them being a lot more crude.
Yeah,
I think that's the word for it. Because we watch so much of the new stuff. And that's 2 years later. Well, 2 years, 3 years, something like that. It's many years later, and you can tell where they've kind of looked upon their own performances and fine-tuned, and let's stop doing that, let's start doing that. Yeah. Especially of talking to each other,
or talking over each other.
Yeah, talking over, or just whispering and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You notice they're doing a lot less of that.
Yeah.
And the echoing of the audio as well, you notice as well.
And the
giveaways.
The max levels on the mics, and the fact that they answer all the questions. They've fine-tuned a lot. I mean,
it's really noticeable when you look back on it, but it's just like any show. If you look back on it, you're like, they look so young. It's reaching that point that you're looking at season 1, and you're just like, oh.
It's like Friends. Like, you ever watched the first season of Friends?
Yeah, and they just look super, super early 90s.
Yeah, amazingly so. I can't wait till we look back at man buns and gluten-free.
And we look back on our shows as well, and we're just like, we didn't even have a bit. The camera was horrible.
The camera was 4:3.
We still actually liked each other.
My face was completely round as well back then. But then I lost weight through very minimal effort. So essentially,
I didn't want to say.
Essentially,
so I go to the gym. I work for it, and you're just
I just drink
exist.
coffee. I drink coffee and have no car, so I walk everywhere. So essentially, like, one of my favourite moments early on in this was when they're deciding to wake the giant and talk to him, and Matt goes, "Does anyone speak?" And Grog goes, because he speaks giant, and he's like, "Undercommon," and Grog's like, "Oh." It was just.
But Grog does bond with the giant as well, so that happens.
Unfortunately, come on, Grog, even with an intelligence of like 6, you should know not to offer your precious keg of ale to the giant. So he does, he says, "Have a sip of this," and of course the giant skulls the whole thing, and then Grog freaks out and goes to attack the giant, runs up his chest with a nat 20 athletics roll and headbutts him. But the giant is kind of actually like, "Okay, yeah, props, you took a massive hit, that's awesome," kind of thing.
Did you really think Grog is smarter than that?
I just think,
really?
I think when it comes to ale, he should be.
No, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, alcohol doesn't make you smarter. Contrary to what you believe. Confidence, yes, it makes you very confident.
It makes you appear more confident to yourself.
No, not at all. Not at all.
This is why I've not touched a drink in over a year.
And this is why I do.
So essentially, like, we also, it was actually, I think the chat was mentioning, "Oh god, don't forget Vax's foot," because at this point Pike is still trying to heal his foot after standing in the lava.
We basically, so we'll skip ahead again to where the giant kind of splattered, and that kind of summons, you could say, Kavan to enter the fray, and then the final battle, the boss battle of this arc happens.
So Matt was very kind in giving the party breathing room to cast their spells and all that kind of stuff before the combat initiated. I think it was Vex who started off the ball rolling by saying, "I cast Hunter's Mark on him," and Tiberius was like, "Well, I do this," and he's like, "Well, does everyone have spells they want to cast before we get into combat?" I think that kind of level of courtesy to your players, especially at like the forepoint of such an important battle, is quite a nice touch by Matt and his DMing skill.
So basically the party attacks are put. Now during the battle, Tiberius kind of goes off and talks to Illithids and tries to convince them that he's Kuroda, because he transforms into Kuroda.
He does alright, but Matt's kind of like,
I find it odd that he did it.
Yeah.
Instead of just joining the fray.
Especially when he's such a powerful figure. With
it feels a bit selfish as a player, selfish, that he was kind of going on his own, because what use would that really done? And it kind of made the story branch out a little, instead of being focused on the big boss battle. It kind of had if that makes sense.
I think like he had his vision of what it should have been and how it should have gone down, and tried to like do his own thing and step away from the party from a little bit. Essentially he tries some stuff with the Illithid that doesn't work. He does manage to avoid having his brains sucked out and having 3 mind rays shot at him with his diplomacy, but nothing really comes of it.
But during this battle, I think it's worth mentioning that Grog dies.
However, Pike, you absolute legend, made sure that she cast Death Ward, a 4th level spell, on as many people as she could, Grog being one of them.
I think, didn't Pike use Revivify?
Oh yes, no, my mistake. Pike does put Death Ward on people, but Grog actually comes and then goes again, then she uses Revivify. Right?
Yeah, and brings them to life. But that is Grog officially dying and then coming back to life, because his soul kind of escaped, because Matt describes it.
And was this the first death of the live stream? I'm pretty sure it was.
Yes.
Yeah. So first.
I know Pike died pre-stream.
Yep.
I know Keyleth killed a child pre-stream, which we never bring up. Never.
We don't talk about it.
No.
It's not cool.
She killed the child. But yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah.
Grog falls. Death Ward brings him back. He gets hit again. He fails. Death saves. Gets attacked. Crits and all that kind of stuff. Dies. Pike revivifies. I think it's a minute. I think you've got a minute to cast that spell before it becomes unusable.
Something like that.
And also, usually, I do believe has material components of diamonds worth a certain gold amount, but they got that sorted in a previous episode, I think.
Cool.
So
Vex kind of gets the killing blow on Kavan, but because of the Horn of Orcus, comes back to life as kind of an undead beholder. I think that's
what they describe him as. But yeah, so this is a really cool example of the party thinking that they've succeeded, and Matt throwing in a spanner and saying, well, not quite.
It's like phase 2 of a boss fight kind of thing.
Yes, it's like if you choose to do a boss in World of Warcraft on heroic mode or whatever back in the day, where there used to be like a secret lever to pull or something like that.
Now, also during the battle, Kima gets turned to stone, or petrified, I believe is the technical thing.
That's the technical term.
Yeah, I know words.
Dropping knowledge.
Yeah, dropping knowledge. Dropping words.
Dropping words.
In English.
Speaking
And Tiberius actually does the final blow, you could say, and stops the Horn from doing the same thing again, because basically once they identify that that's what's doing it, I was surprised that the Horn possibly could revive him back. I thought it was like a one-time thing, but...
Well, Orcus is the god of undeath, so that's kind of his wheelhouse.
Yeah, so it can just happen... is the Horn of Orcus an actual real item?
I'm actually not sure. It sounds like it is, because Orcus, I believe, is a Dawn War deity.
Yeah, I'd like to know the rules on that. I mean, we could do research on it, but that would cause us to not have a very bad show. I mean, we'll have a good show, and we don't want that.
Yeah, no, that's not what we signed up for. That's not what you signed up for, obviously.
No.
No, we're not going to do research and actually put our skill and effort on the line.
So, with Kavan destroyed, the Illithids are free, and then... the Elder Brain is free too, and now we're going to enter an interesting part of it, of the story, with Kuroda also being free as well, and they're not under control of an evil beholder, and that's where the episode
ends. I like the dramatic effect of the booklet.
Yeah. I was going to think of something witty, but I didn't come up with anything. I looked at you, I was just like, oh, that's an ugly face, and then I lost straight of thought.
It's true.
It's true, the ugly face?
I haven't done my beard properly. But yeah, so essentially that's the episode. A good portion of this was planning, but this is essentially, the most important battle on stream that the party had faced to this point, so fair enough.
And it's cool looking back on it, especially how, I mean, at this point they only had 300 subscribers, the follower rate was quite low, just the look of it, and what gimmicky things they did to keep to bring new followers in. Reminds me of a lot of Twitch streams they have out there still, like giveaways and being to get into the draw you just had to be active in chat. That was the one rule that you had.
They also back then had the chat appearing on the screen until I think they realised the volatile nature of some internet trolls and took that away.
And they were just if we get a sell 1,000 shirts, which Critical Role probably does that in a day. Nowadays,
I mean, they release a new shirt. It generally sells out before they finish mentioning.
I mean, before I could even buy it, I mean, it was on their Critical Role site. I mean, it just shows you how far they've gone away. It also gives hope to people out there that have their own streams. It's the fact of you could be like this now, or you could have this kind of production, and you could see how it goes if you keep going with it. Just like our show's changed and evolved. And
absolutely.
And
it's also cool just seeing them evolve, because it's easy to look at how it is at the end and say, well, that's what they are now, but to see the reasons behind who they became, and
it made me really miss Grog.
Yeah,
it made me miss Grog and Pike. And all of Vox Machina.
Yeah. It made me miss Vax because he was one of my favourites. The whole Raven Queen thing.
I didn't miss Vex that much, Ben, because he doesn't feel like Vex yet. Right. Even Vex, a little bit. Well, the obsession with the flying carpet.
Oh,
that helped
the
me.
Carpet and Trinket, having Trinket back as a party member was something that I didn't realise I'd been missing so much.
Percy wasn't really too into it. I didn't feel.
I feel like Percy hasn't found his legs yet this early on, in terms of who he is and what he brings to the party. At this point, he was kind of coming in at small moments and being like, "Well, here's an idea," and generally it was really good ideas. But he hasn't really formed himself as a key member.
He's kind of got the same voice as Molly, though. I understand they're the same person. Yeah. But
everyone else has very different.
Yeah, by the end of it, you got a very Percy kind of talking. Persona and stuff. But right now, it kind of feels like the Molly kind of talking. But.
But no, it was cool to see. It's just the old school, because I started with episode 1. Someone introduced me to it when I started playing D&D. And I thought, well, if I'm going to do this, I might as well start with episode 1. So it was cool to go back and...
I think I started with episode 40. I think that's where I jumped in. It's around about like 6 months before their first their live show that I went to.
Because I've got a gap, because I watched from 1 up to about 75, 80, and then we started doing the channel where we were reviewing the newest ones.
No, that was 90.
Yeah, no. Yeah. So 95, so I'd missed that chunk of episodes.
Alright, let's wrap this up.
Yeah,
we're gas bagging.
So, it was a really fun, cool episode just to see who they were before they became who we know as Vox Machina.
Do we want to do MVP? We normally don't do this for back on the foot.
Might as well.
Grog,
I agree.
Because he died.
His roleplay was amazing this episode. He stuck true to the character. He did some cool shit with his acrobatics.
Yeah, I agree. We'll have Grog as MVP. We never did it. Actually, we never did an MVP for any Tal'Dorei. any Tal'Dorei would never did MVP.
So, the first ever MVP.
And what's your crazy Reddit theory of the week,
My
Ollie?
crazy Reddit theory of the week is...
You don't have one? Don't make it up. Don't lie to people.
No,
Don't lie to people.
I don't, because I couldn't be bothered.
Yeah, no, it's alright. It makes sense. It makes sense. And we don't have a comment either because, well, this is like one of those catch-up episodes, and but obviously leave a comment. We will read them, and we will go next week. We'll be back to the normal campaign.
Yeah.
Which is going to be quite interesting.
And hey,
guests.
If you're finding yourself like this week a bit Critical Role hungry because there was no episode, why don't you go back and watch episode 11 of the original series, and then like we could all do the same thing this week,
or watch our old episodes and just make fun of us. Just like say, oi, you guys suck.
Get a more expensive camera than $30
and then go
one
like, how about you do a review of our show doing a review of Critical Role.
How many levels can we get this to?
Yeah, it'll be amazing.
I think infinite recursion needs to occur where we all just start reviewing each other. But to be fair, to be honest, why not go back and watch episode 11 and then you had the same kind of experience this week as two random nerds from Wellington, New Zealand. And
make sure you subscribe to the channel, and also thank you all our patrons. We just got another one this week, which will be fun to add to the song. That's going to come next month, which is fun. But if you want to help us out, you can either donate or you can offer our Patreon, and then we can do more things, which I've just put the money towards putting our podcast online. It's online. It's on SoundCloud and iTunes.
And also, if you don't have money to donate because you're a pauper from the Badlands and Shepherdonia, then why don't you just comment down below so we have something to read
and
in
just
the morning.
Watch. Yeah, as long as you're here, we're all having fun and we're not self-destructing.
So, from myself, Oliver Dungeon Master, and
Dave with no beard,
we wish you a good morning.
And make mention about how awesome my beard is. Yes. Because somebody didn't. I don't have a beard. Why would I telling people to say how awesome my beard is if I don't have a beard? I'm an idiot. Internet, I'm the idiot.
If you want Dave to regrow his beard, leave a comment in below with how long and what colour you want it to be, and he'll do it.
I'm going to die alone.
Thank you very much for watching NPCs of Tal'Dorei. Go and enjoy the rest of your day. I command you. Do it. You have no choice.
Alright, win.
You, Sam.
It's gone.
From Finland. Enjoy your day.
I'm cutting it.
Hello and welcome to NPCs of Wild Mountain here.
No, do it again.
Oh yeah, that's right.